And we're live. Hello again. We
Hey,
are
Dimitri,
we're back
what's
here
happening with
again.
George?
We're having a little bit of trouble with one of our coworkers' internet connection, but I think we can still start. So, Rami, what do you want to work on today?
Um, how about like we decided to work on RSS and pulling the information from the main Thoughtbot blog into Design Dot using RSS and Eleventy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like George will join us in a little bit because of a network issue, but we carry on. So last time we did some stuff on the branch. I think I didn't push that, but well, let's see where we are right now. Would you like to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Um,
Okay, here we are.
okay. So right now I did a pull a few minutes ago, so I guess I'm updated. But do you remember which branch you want to work on?
Yeah, I can find that for you. I call the branch fetch blog posts.
Okay. Is there anything we should like do an npm install or something?
Well, let's give it a try. Usually in our projects we have a script. It's been set up. You can run this one.
Okay, is this working or is this hard coded? This is hard coded, right?
This is hard. Yes, it is. It's hard coded.
Okay, so I'll be driving and you'll be just, I guess, uh, you're the technical guy, so just tell me where we start.
Yeah, I guess we're both technical in our ways. So it looks like we should actually be getting some other content on there. Maybe try restarting the server or the program. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. So I think this is where you want to run bin setup.
Sorry, I just changed keyboards.
Setup, not start.
Ah, okay, so bin setup.
Yeah. Yeah, bin setup is a convention we have in our Ruby projects, and I guess we're putting it also here. And I see that George has also joined us. Hello, George. Can you hear us? Yay!
Yes, finally. Maybe it's
There's some echo. Oh. Hello?
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
I've unmuted myself. You.
All right. So what we see here is the thing that I would have wanted to avoid or work around is you see how now we haven't been able to fetch real content from the blog, so we have these empty. Well, basically the latest blog post is empty, and the feature blog post is empty as well, and so on. So I had an idea how to improve the situation for local development, but also for testing, because right now everything is untested. Would you like to go down this path?
Yes.
Sure.
I'm curious.
Yeah, so let's think about it. We're getting the content from an RSS feed, but in the end, we're doing multiple steps. One, we're downloading the RSS feed, and it's an XML file, but think of it as a string. And then we're parsing that string and transforming it, putting it on the website. So for testing purposes, I mean both local manual testing and automated testing, we could get rid of the network part. So we could get a file from disk instead.
Mhm.
And that would allow us to iterate on design without thinking about the real content that we're pulling. And we could even test some scenarios where, I don't know, we're fetching a feed that has an empty post. How do we deal with that? Or 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs. And I remember last time we were talking about number of lines and all of these. And that's, I mean, we don't want to publish a new blog post just to test a thing in our design workflow. So we could still get the same benefit, but by having a local copy. So the thing I would suggest is getting the real feed /blog, and I think we don't link it. I think that's
feed. Is this what we want?
Yeah, we can start with that.
But it's not a full feed.
Yeah, what you can do is you can copy the contents of these files of this file and put them in a file in the project.
XML?
Yeah, sounds good. But also it's somehow, yeah, way too big. We may want to simplify this a little bit for us.
Is it way too big?
No, what I'm just saying is maybe there's things we don't want in there.
Ah, okay. Like what?
I guess it depends a little bit on how we work with it. So what do you think, George? I think we could read that file. We can have maybe, I don't know if it would be the final code, but the part that gets us the feed from the network, we could have some conditional there that gets it from disk as well in test mode or.
Yeah. Or yeah. Or the alternative is dependency injection, no? On where we call the feeds and we have two feeds fetchers.
Yeah, something like that. All right, so Rami, I think we need to go in that Eleventy data file where we were reading the feed from. And I think that was called blog posts.js. Yeah, this one. And so what we had is at line 18, we are fetching a feed. I think for the purpose of testing this, I think we comment out the first 2 lines. And instead, we redefine this feed string. So let feed string equal, and then we would read it from disk.
Okay, so
const is fine as well, I think.
Sorry.
bless you. And
Thanks. What's
Unsure how to
JavaScript
do this
syntax?
one. Yeah, this is something like the FS module, I think. Which we need to import, and we would
Something like this. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that looks good. The first one, yeah, it looks good. And then I think we want, so on line 20, I think we want an fs read file, and we give it the file path. I don't do this very often in the Node in the JavaScript ecosystem.
Is it what do we call it? Feed.xml?
Yep.
That's what we called it. Okay, so it's in the root folder. Is that fine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, but it's going to be relative to where you are, no? So // I guess.
Yeah, not quite sure, but
No?
we'll test it.
Would be.
No, it's not picking it up. At least my auto thing.
Okay.
What?
Maybe like this.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's it.
Like
Yeah.
this.
No.
Okay.
No, just this one.
Cool.
Okay. So, oh yeah, and it's a read file sync instead of read file. sy, yeah, this one. All right. I think that every time we make a change to this file, unfortunately, we need to restart the server. I may be wrong, but oh no, it did detect it.
Did it?
Let's try again.
It's
now we have some
complaining
kind of
about
error message.
No such file. Or...
Yeah.
So maybe it's not relative. No, but
So right there.
without the dot. Different error. That's always good. Unexpected close tag.
With which line? Line 19. Here. I didn't touch this.
Could be in the.
I think it says line 19 of the file we're reading. Because what I see below is it's a parser error. So what we could do is have a simpler file, simpler XML file. But I don't know how to get you that.
Let's maybe this what happened here. So let's just do something like this. Wait. How about this? Like this.
That's right.
Okay, that's good. Is it reading it though?
It's reading it, but it's not finding any blog posts because we removed all of the content.
Let's maybe debug the actual issue. Line 19. Column 2448. Unexpected close tag.
Oh, you know what? I think it's an encoding issue from how you. So you copied it from the browser, but the browser had rendered it. But I bet that this is not the original file.
Okay, how about we do something like curl or something?
Yeah, sounds good.
Curl. Do you remember the flag, or maybe just do? Let's delete the file first. Sorry, it's
You can still use curl if you.
I don't remember that. Like, can we just do it straightforward like this?
Yeah.
You can. Well, this will. I think this will download it like this, but you can pipe that into feed.xml.
Greater than.
Like this, or like an actual pipe?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, redirect is what I meant. Yes.
Okay.
Greater than.
feed.xml, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we do this guy. Nice.
Ooh, ooh.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, that feels good. Okay, so this is an improvement. It makes our development cycle better, right?
I would
So
say
what's
so
next?
for sure. Okay, and there's several things we can do here. One of them is improving the styles, like we talked about last time. But I actually want to also test the parsing logic of the parsing the RSS feed itself. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's go for the parsing.
Yeah. So can you open the blog post JS again? The other file.
I'm just okay. Blog post. Yeah, this one.
Yeah. So what we have here is we have one function that does everything, and it's possibly doing a little bit too much. We've already identified one place that can be different depending on our use case, and that's how we get the actual feed string. So we either read it from network or read it from a file. What we could do is extract a function with the stuff below once we have the string, and then we give the string to that function. But before we get there, I guess we would want to force that with a test, or write a test that forces us to do that. What do you think?
I think I've never done that, writing tests in JavaScript, but let's do it.
Sounds good. So how about you, George? Have you written any JavaScript tests recently?
No, not recently. Last tests were on a React Native app, but that was it. But otherwise, yeah, no testing.
Yeah. So I took a look earlier, and of course we don't have a test framework or a test runner set up here. So I think this is the first thing we'll do. And my my issue with the JavaScript ecosystem is I don't know what would be a standard thing. I think Jest is used quite a lot, but there's some other things. I've heard of Ava, VTest, and others. I think it doesn't really matter right now. Probably some of them are better than others, but I think we just pick one and install it and start there, and we can always improve later. What do you think about that?
Let's do it.
So, I love the idea of standards in the JavaScript ecosystem. That's a dream. Maybe one day.
Elevator music. Can you beatbox, George?
No. Like you've already heard me sing. You know I don't sing well. That's like
It's better than the awkward silence. We can make fun of you after that. Okay.
okay.
No need for beatboxing.
Thank you, network.
I think we also need to do one more thing, which is in the package JSON, we need to define a test script.
Okay.
See. Yeah, exactly.
This.
Yeah.
That's me. Put it here. Oops.
Yep. And there's a, yeah, it needs to be a comma at the end of the previous line. Exactly. And now I believe you can run npm test, and this should run Jest.
npm test.
Yeah.
Up here.
Yeah, in any terminal. Cool. I mean, it found no tests. That's expected. Yeah, but I mean that part's working. So let's write a test. Maybe let's write a simple test like the example one they give, and then we can go to our test implementation.
So where do they go?
We could. I think there's multiple multiple ways of adding tests. One is you could have a test directory, or the other one is you could have tests alongside your source code files. And I'm not sure which is better, but what I've seen a lot in JavaScript is having the test files alongside the source files. So we could have a where the blog posts.js is, we could have a blog posts.test.js.
Over here, right?
Yeah.
So blog posts. What's the file called again? Test?
Would be like, I think .test instead. I'm not sure of all the conventions, but I've seen this one. And then .js.
Ah, okay.
Right. And in that file, we can write, we can copy the example test that is in the README. Or no, I guess that requires some kind of implementation.
We define some on top, but yeah.
Let's do something. Well, let's start typing in the test instead. We can do test with whatever, doesn't matter, an empty string even. And then it takes a second parameter. It's this function that contains the test run and assertions.
Sorry, I'm just a little rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You have an example in the README.
So a fat arrow, and then curly braces. Perfect.
Yeah. And there's, you see after the string hello world test, there's a closing parentheses. That closing parentheses needs to be at the very end, because the function is a second parameter of this call.
First the curlies and the parentheses.
Okay.
Nice. I do see it saying test is not defined, but let's try running npm test again.
Can we put an expectation inside?
Oh yeah, we could. Yeah. So now it's
Oh no, it passed.
One test
Oh, yeah.
passing, because it does nothing actually.
Yeah.
Can I do this?
Without the function sum, like expect 1 + 2 to be 3, for example.
Okay. Like literally, just this?
Yeah. Because in the Jest documentation, they define a sum function, or just like.
Okay.
And let's do another expect where 1 + 2 to be 4. Making sure we can make it fail. That's an important part of.
Okay.
Yay. Okay,
All
so
right.
now
What are we testing now?
We're testing. I see that your Vim is complete, or I guess the plugins that you have with Vim are running some kind of linting, and they realize that test and expect and all of these things are unknown. I think that's a tooling configuration problem.
Yeah.
Because the tests are running.
I don't want to go into like a rabbit hole of fixing Vim issues. I'm just going to ignore them and maybe fix them after the stream. So next week we'll be in a better situation.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it might even be not a Vim issue, but something in the testing. Yeah, maybe there's some extra configuration. Anyhow, yeah, let's think about what we're testing. I've written the function above already with testing in mind a little bit, although it's not. I mean, it could be better. What I mean by that, see on line 34 and following.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's missing a return. But
I have, it's again, Vim thing, there's this arrow.
Oh, I see. Or I don't see it, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the end, this is a function that returns a data structure. So we could write an assertion, or we could write a test that we get a certain output.
Mm-hmm.
Latest is an array and or latest is a single post and featured is a single post. And it has these fields that we see on top. So we could literally have, I guess, we could give it a string that represents a feed and then run it through a function and then expect that we've gotten an object with the latest key, which contains a post that has this title, this author, this excerpt, and so on. And same for the list of feature posts. Or we could even,
that means. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, you.
That means that we extract the part of the function, no?
Exactly. But I thought we could maybe write a skeleton of a test. And
yeah, okay, good.
Like think about how we can make it pass.
Good.
Okay.
So then inside the curlies, we have expect a function which would be parse.
Parse
No,
feed.
first. Yeah, we can call it parse feed. Parse feed. Yeah, parse feed. No. No, not parse
What?
feed. Format, yeah. Rather the format feeds into post. Is that too explicit?
Sorry. Into post like this. Is that too much?
We can rename it afterwards. It doesn't matter too much.
Then it would be a function. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't see very well. Do you have parentheses? So expect should be a function call, I guess.
This.
That would receive our fixture. So formatted feed into post would have parentheses as well, and in it would have a variable that doesn't exist either, which is feed
Sorry?
string. Thinking feed string, reusing the net's name. Test feed string. No.
Test
It's
feed
okay.
string.
No, I think it's okay because in the context of the test, it's
just
the one we give it.
And then to be like this.
Probably, yeah. We're missing one parenthesis, one closing parenthesis after
before the dot.
Yeah, because format feed into post takes a parameter and then expect takes a parameter as well.
Okay.
Oh, and now we have one extra at the end. Right.
Where are the matchers?
I think here we can expect a literal value, or we can expect the object shape. So I would say we have as a result, we have a JavaScript object with two keys, latest and featured.
So, and click this.
Yes, and we could either do everything inline, or we can define them above. But I think inline would be pretty good. So then we actually define what latest and featured are. With featured, we can start with an empty array. I think that's fine.
So this.
Yep.
Latest.
And latest would be an object. And that object has title, author, excerpt, date, and link.
Title, author.
What you have above in the buffer with lines 27 to 31.
Okay. Author. Date, link. These errors are counter actually doing more harm than good. Okay, so is this the right syntax?
So then I think we need to clarify what we want the title to be, the author, excerpt, date, link, and so on. we need to give them expected values.
So the first one?
Yeah, and we can choose what those are here. So we can call it, for example, test blog post.
Okay. Test. And what's the format here? Anything?
It's going to be a data object type of object now.
Let's pick something that could be wrong, but have it as a placeholder.
Okay.
So how do you
nav 28, a string, or just something that could be wrong would be, yeah, anything.
Oh, and I remember what I expected here. I expected the formatted date, so it would be exactly what we were saying before, November.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So NOV 28, 2023.
Oh yeah, 9:30.
So date is wrong right now, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine for now.
As a matter of let's say good habit, I would set the link to example.org instead. You never know.
Any reason?
So usually,
yeah.
I mean, we're not hitting that URL, but you never know. Like you never know how the test might turn out. Maybe later we're even having a browser test where we try to follow the link or something.
Yeah.
And we probably wanted some kind of different link, but this example.org domain is guaranteed to be it's set up for that. Whereas Google or anything else, you don't know, especially when working on an application, you don't know what will end up accessing that URL. And so you don't want things like, accidentally hitting a production endpoint or stuff like that with your tests. So we always use this example.org.
Makes sense. Should I run the test?
Oh yeah, let's give it a try.
That's good.
Feed into post is not defined.
Yeah, I'm having second thoughts about the name because we don't only have one post, we have this whole structure. Yeah. So we could call it parse feed or transform feed. I don't know.
Yeah, because the parse feed, so I didn't go with parse feed because parse feed is what we do above. Just parsing the string into feed. Transform feed. I like transform feed.
This transform feed, right?
For now.
Yeah, I mean, sounds a little bit better. I'm still not completely satisfied with the name, but we'll discover if it fits or not. Before
we go on, I'm really maybe Dimitri, can you help me? I'm really annoyed that this is like horizontal. How do I switch it to vertical?
What do you mean? So having the buffers side by side?
Yeah, I don't want to close it and reopen it. Is there a quick way?
Yeah, I think it's Control W, and then
What's Control W?
oh,
Window,
sorry,
okay. Yeah, okay. And then
Control L, for example.
no.
That might be, I might be, hold on, I need to test my muscle memory, and those could be on my side as well, like custom shortcuts I have.
Your own setup.
Oh, sorry. So go to the buffer that you want to move. Control W, and then Shift L, for example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Control W, I think, gets you into that
Window mode
of window mode, and then Shift L is like place it, or capital L is place it on the left.
Okay. So
yeah.
Transform feed.
Yeah.
But it's complaining that it doesn't exist anyways. So
for two reasons. One, it's not been defined, and second, it hasn't been imported.
Yeah.
We can, yeah.
So do we define it inside this file?
Inside the blog post, let's say. We extract from blog post.
If we're trying to take it one step at a time, we could define a new function that we export.
In this file, right?
Yeah.
So export.
Oh, you know what? I just realized we're not using the ES6 style. We're using this, what is called CommonJS. So the export is already on line 20, where we have exports is a function, this async function we're exporting. I think that we can, interesting. I mean, we can be in a little bit of a broken state. Let's first define a function.
Here, for example.
Yeah, so function transform feed, and it can have an empty body. I guess it takes a parameter, but we'll discover that later. And then it can return nothing, like an empty curly braces, as the function body is fine.
I really forgot how to. Sorry.
All right, and then in the exports. Okay, so I had taken a bit of a shortcut, and we have this module exports equals async something. Let's name this also something. I don't know what to call it.
What do you mean by this?
Sorry, what the function that we have on line starting on line 23. We could possibly also name it.
Okay.
And then we do the exports separately, where we've already defined the functions, and then we just export them.
Okay, so
yeah, async function. Don't know. Get posts.
Get posts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we could remove the module exports before that. And at the end of the file, we do module exports equal, and then we give it an object.
Exports or
Yeah, I think plural. Yeah.
But it's misspelled. No, it's okay. Okay.
And then I've forgotten how this works if with default exports and non-default exports, but I think we can export, for example, the transform feed function. So you put transform feed in that array at the bottom. Not array, object.
Yeah, I got it.
And what this does is now we've broken the actual rendering of the blog post, but I wanted to get to clean up the test things first, and then we can hook it up all together. So now we've exported it from this file. What shall we import it in the test file?
Or is it required?
Let's find out. It doesn't like it because require expects a file path.
That.
Yeah, we need to, so we're requiring the file blog posts, but then getting...
Is it like this?
No.
No?
So first, I think require is a function, so it needs a parentheses.
Okay, but
yeah, I think I know what you're saying. So you're thinking of the import syntax, and this is the import syntax, and this is the require syntax. So with require, we can try with import first. It doesn't matter much. Oh no, but actually it might not work. Import transform feed from blog post.
okay. Import transform from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cannot use import uses. It's a module.
Yeah. So
I think we're getting into some tooling problems. So let's try the other way around with the require. So what we would do is we could do const transform feed equals require then the file.
I require parentheses there.
We even need one more thing after the require dot transform feed. And how this works is when you call require, I think it returns the object that we have at the end of these exports. And in that, if you look at your blog post JS file, we return an object that has a key called transform feed. And so we retrieve that from at the very bottom of the file where we exported.
sorry, I'm confused.
In blog post JS, can you go to the part where we did module.exports?
Yeah.
See how we exported an object which has one key called transform feed, which points to the function transform feed. When we do require, I think what we get as a result is the
object.
Is the object that we exported. and so we can chain a call to retrieve the specific function that we're require, and then that's that would go to the end. So require does take first the path, and that was correct. And then after the closing parentheses, we do .transform feed.
Yes.
At least, at least I think this is how it works.
I've never seen this syntax before. Okay, let's see. Okay.
Boom. Boom.
Nice. Okay, so do we want to do this or take a break? We have 5 minutes.
I was thinking exactly the same with this exciting progress with the failing test. We can take a break on the cliffhanger and take a short break. So yeah, we'll be back in around 5 minutes.
Cool.
Cool.
Talk to you soon, peeps.
Welcome back. While we wait for Rami, I thought we could plug again that we are not only doing live streams, but we also do work on Rails applications and mobile applications and products in general, and we do design and development, and you can work with us. So George, have you worked, so what we did now with testing, have you done something like this on a project where it's not quite clear how to test because there's no test setup? Do you do that kind of setup often?
No. Like as I said, it's just this working with Rails. I feel like there are a bit of recipes on how do you set up the test, or just like what are the test done. It's just
I find it interesting because if you have everything set up for testing, then it almost encourages you to write tests, right?
Yeah. Actually, last year, playing with Rust, that's where the last time we're just like, it's not a setup in a way because it's integrated within the language, but that's where I remember just rediscovering test in another place. And it's the same thing as Rails, as you said, that when it's set up for you, like when it's there, you go more easily towards it.
Shall we continue? I can share the screen again. All right, the viewer should be seeing Rami's screen again. Rami, if it's not too complicated,
Too small?
what do you think about making the browser window a bit smaller and then the editor a bit bigger?
I mean, we really need this.
Yeah, don't know. we could even have the terminal window for screen, I guess, and then you can bump up the size of the font. Yeah, that looks better. Thanks.
Okay. So now we need feed string, right?
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be like an XML file, test XML file?
That can be how I was imagining it. That could be so it's the contents of the feed, not necessarily the reference to the file. So we could have an inline representation of the feed here somewhere.
Like this?
For example. Yeah, for example, const feed string equals something, or a test feed, doesn't matter. I would put it in the test itself though, just because maybe we have more tests with different shapes. Yeah, I mean, let's have it run.
So received undefined.
Yeah. Why is that? Is that I think it's because transform feed, how we define it, does not do anything. So it does return undefined. Or I guess no, or I don't know exactly what it is.
I think that's a good guess. Like if we returned an empty object there, we get the same.
Yes.
I think there's something called a watch mode for this, so that we don't need to keep running the command, but running the command over and over is good for now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so right now it's failing because objects.
Yeah, well, what we could do now is actually implement the function.
All right. So what does this supposed to do? Explain it to a designer.
Yeah. Can you go back to the get post function?
Okay. Down here.
Yeah. So in my mind, we can copy everything from line 27 till the end of the function. Sorry, from line 28 until the end of the function.
Okay.
Because that expects us to have some kind of, we call it feed string. And that feed string, we can give it as a parameter to transform feed.
So I just dumped everything inside the function. I don't know that what you wanted to do.
No, that's good. Good. We need the argument, the parameter inside the definition of the function on top. On line 14, we want to pass a feed string now.
Okay.
When we test this.
But it's expect. I have no trust in my data. All right, let's see. Ugly.
Oh, because we're async.
Okay, so the transform feed needs an async at the front. I think it's an async function, transform feed. It looks like that's a typo or something. There's an extra.
Ah. Oh, wow. I should have all this, right?
Yeah, possibly you copied until the end of the file.
Yeah. Okay.
That's pure TDD experience. It's just like it's, or maybe no, it's error-driven development, which I love.
Yeah, but look at that. It said that there's a non-white space before first tag. And again, I think this ASX SAX is an XML parser. So I think that we're getting somewhere. And I think it comes from our test input, because in our test, feed string is not valid XML. So if in the test we, I don't know, that's
put invalid XML here.
Yes, let's put something that looks like XML, like hello and hello, yeah, whatever.
Is this valid XML?
I don't know. Probably not.
You might need another key title around hello.
Yeah, but what we really need is, I think, is
Copy paste.
we have the feed.xml that you downloaded before,
Mm-hmm.
and we would want to do that. But I think what you have is a good first step. We can give it.
But
give it
last
this
time we
example.
copied gave us issues. Let's try again. Okay.
Let's try again. Of course, this has nothing of the shape of the RSS feed, but we'll get to that later. I think we want to get rid of the parsing error.
Okay, so
And
try this kind of just remove all the yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm. Feed not recognized as RSS 1 or 2.
I love that we're taking all of these small steps and we're changing the error message every time.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, maybe we know the solution, maybe we don't know the solution, but we're making progress.
Do you want to export? Use the file.
Should
I
we
think we
just
could.
cut?
Yeah, copy parts of the file, like have the structure of the file, but then put in the actual things, like we want the title to be test blog post and the date to be a different date.
Like, just take 2 lines from here.
I guess let's take the first entry or so. Nice.
Put it here.
Yeah.
It's gonna look ugly.
How do we do multi-line strings in JavaScript? I thought there was a way.
Triple quotes? What am I mixing? But no.
It's not gonna look nice.
Oh.
Why don't we just point to the file?
Backtick.
Like this?
Yeah,
one
but
backtick.
One backtick should be enough. So that's a good question. Why don't we point to the file? The reason is something we call a mystery guest, which generally can lead to problems in tests. And what is it? A mystery guest is some value, something that comes from a file that's not the test file. And so to figure out what the value is, you have to go and read something else. And it's kind of, you don't find it in the test file contents, and it makes it harder to understand what's going on. What we would like, or my goal here with having the string in line, is that we have a blog post title that's literally the same title as we have in the string above. So if someone is looking at the input of this function, they could recognize why it is, how it is linked, and where the value comes from.
Press enter.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, you don't have to wait for us to to guide every keyboard press.
Okay. I'm guessing this is better. So yeah, so it's failing because it's not the same, right? So if we change title to...
Oh, you know what? but it doesn't say so, but it says it returns a promise. You see the one in red? So it said that it couldn't find the structure that we're expecting.
Because it's async.
Instead, it was a promise. And I think it's because it's async, yeah. Expect await transform feed to be. So before the transform feed, we need a await keyword.
And it should be async also.
Maybe the test needs to be async, but I'm not sure. No. I don't think the expect needs to be async.
From the doc, it looks like it might do. Yeah.
Mike?
No, not the expect, the
To be.
the function, the second argument of the test, the test function on top. We pass it there before the parentheses. Oh, this so a second argument, yeah.
Whew. Okay. No. Same issue, it seems, right? No.
But it's not the no, yeah. Now it's the question of it's not the same authors, it's not the same date and everything. The expectation is really on the type of the object, so we need to change the author, the date.
So let's just, for example, change the title.
No, that's the title, I think, of the feed and not of an entry.
Okay, let's just search for Vandala. Okay.
So just the title was, yeah.
And call it,
yeah, exactly. Boom. Boom. And so on line N18 of the blog test.js, we can change the title to.
Do you want to go through all of these? Just verify it's working, right? Or do you want to make the test actually pass?
What do you mean go through all of these?
Because this is just, we shouldn't be reading from here. We should be reading from a file anyways. We're just making sure that the test is working, right?
That's a good question. So what we're trying to do, and maybe we have to zoom out a little bit. Now what we're writing is a test for the function that gets a feed, or no, that doesn't get a feed, gets the representation of a feed as a string, and transforms the data in a shape that we want. And it's useful to have this test in itself because there we're doing stuff like, well, we're trying to get the right field to be the date field, formatted in the right way. We want the author to be extracted successfully. We want the excerpt, and that has some logic behind it. Maybe we want the link to be correct, and so on. And testing that in isolation is already worth it. There's another step which we haven't gotten to yet, which is getting this transform feed function hooked up to the actual feed that we're downloading from the internet or that we're reading from a file. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
When we do testing, we sometimes test at multiple levels, and now we're focused on it's not quite a unit test, I would say, but it's testing this one function.
Yeah.
So we're not going to extract from the file, just for that test.
Okay, so I changed a few things. So now date and excerpt and link are not the same. Okay, so link is easy because HTTPS. change it down here. Okay, but there are no excerpts in the feed itself.
So in our function,
So what I intended here when I wrote the excerpt thing, so let's not look at the implementation, but
okay.
talk again about what we want. If we have a blog post, we wanted it to be the first paragraph, I guess. And so what we could do is have a, where was it in the example feed above? We have a content somewhere.
Content, yeah.
Yeah, type HTML. And here we have this paragraph with, we recently published a blog post, da da da.
Mhm.
We could replace all of this content by maybe 2 paragraphs. One that has the test excerpt as a first paragraph. Sorry, 2 paragraphs. One which has the text that we're searching for, and a second paragraph that has some other text, just so we know that we've picked only the first paragraph.
And remove the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have 2 paragraphs here. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, and we could also change this. Well, the assertion would be, because we're getting as an excerpt, we're getting the contents of the first full paragraph. That paragraph that we have is a little bit complicated, and I thought we could replace its value by something smaller and shorter.
The first paragraph?
Yeah.
So just do a lorem ipsum.
Yeah, or yeah, exactly. But it needs to be an. Now here's the tricky part. This is HTML, right? And it means it needs to be start with a P or be in a P tag. And maybe you see that it's been encoded, which is also what we want. This less than P greater than, and then we have some text, and then at the end of the line we have also less than closing P tag. So between these things we want to put some lorem ipsum or whatever.
This. Yeah.
Yeah. And we can also change the second paragraph just because, or I mean, we can leave it like this, but let's call it some other content or whatever.
Okay.
Cool. And we could run the test, but I already can guess that since this content of lorem ipsum blah 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 is what we expect, we need to change our assertion because we were expecting some excerpt or whatever the string was. Test excerpt.
Change it to what? Lorem ipsum?
Change it to the content of the first paragraph, right?
Yeah. Okay. So basically from here, right? To
yeah.
the
text itself, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we need to get in the paragraph.
Oh yeah, I remember. The reason we're doing that, was because we're parsing. So we're parsing the HTML. We have no way of, or it's very hard to get just, well, no, we can get just the text, but I think what we're doing is, it's not always only text, it can be links and other things. So it needs to be valid HTML. And so this is why we lift the HTML directly. So yeah, I think you're right.
And the date, should I just change it to this?
That's the format I expect for sure, yeah.
Ooh, sorry. Yeah, okay. What is it complaining about now?
Oh,
should
it's
have-
strict equal. Yeah.
Change it to strict equal?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Yay.
Okay. Next step.
Would be, so is there anything we need to clean up in this test? I see on line 36, there's a commented out string.
Do we need all this stuff up here, the feed and subtitle? Or it's gonna complain it's not a valid XML, right?
You could try and just deleting everything that's related to the feed itself, or just like, so the XML and the feed we keep, but I mean everything that's related to the from line 7 to line 16.
Yeah. Okay.
Boom. Makes it easier.
Okay.
And also to make it the summary, I would put some other placeholder text in there, like post summary.
And no social media stuff. Okay. And the published stuff, updated.
Yeah, no, that's good because we need the string there.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the date. And the ID can also be, well, it doesn't matter. But
It does matter or it does not matter?
Yeah, I think it does not matter. So you can replace it by test ID, or I don't know if the, actually maybe the field doesn't matter. Let's try without the line.
Okay.
Nice. So I think we made the test pass, but we broke something in the implementation. So maybe we fix that before committing.
Oh, what do you mean? In this file on the right?
We're not calling that function.
Yeah. So what we have is now a unit test of this function, but we don't have an integration test. But right now our integration test has been manual, and that's I think that's also good. And then we can think about how to do it in a different way. but there was this get posts function.
Yeah.
I think this one needs to call transform feed with the result of the.
Here, you mean this part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So from line 41 to line 54, you can replace everything by return transform feed.
To 54.
I think so, yeah.
And transform feed.
With a return.
Okay. Return transform feed. Do it take a parameter or just?
Yeah, or a feed string.
Okay, yeah. And remove these two or keep them for now?
Let's keep them for now. I think that we may even want to revert to that for testing purposes. Shall we run the
Yeah.
npm start again?
I did start.
Yeah, because I think it's not quite running yet.
Oh, async. No. Oh, no, test is not defined. Ooh. It want to run the test file. Is it because we put it in the folder underscore data?
Maybe.
Yeah, could be. We can try put it in. So I think that Eleventy has something about ignore patterns. Otherwise, what you can do is put the file in a test directory.
Okay, let's just do it. Where is it? Okay, so let's do it visually. So you want to create a new folder called test, right?
I guess so, yeah.
New folder. Okay, and then move that file from data into there. This guy?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay. But the imports will probably break.
Could be. Let's try to run npm test now. That should give us some clues.
Yeah. So is it like data? Okay.
Oh, you know what?
We didn't
Now
read
when
the
you
file.
saved, I think you saved the file again. So maybe close the buffer in Vim and then move the file and then reopen the file again in Vim.
So I'm going to delete it from here and just move it again. And just close Vim. And try again. Okay. And you want.
Let's try npm start.
I'm just okay. npm test. Oh, start. Nice.
Maybe
Yeah.
not. Aren't we supposed to read on latest blog the blog?
Yeah. So here's what's happening in my what I think is happening. Eleventy
promise.
data expects whatever you return, whatever you export from this file is made available. And now, right now, we're exporting an object that contains this transform feed function. Previously, we were returning a function here. And so it could be that we need to make the default export be get posts, but then still export transform feed for our
Oh
test.
yeah. So below in the exports modules.
Over here?
Line 44. We would have blog underscore posts as a key exports get posts.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Blog?
And then underscore posts. And that's would be the key, and the column would be the function get posts.
And pass to it.
Nothing. It doesn't take. No.
I'm going to restart this. No.
Yeah, I would suggest maybe we read the documentation on the Eleventy website about the data. There's some examples on there.
Okay. We're using data. Sorry.
Any specific link you want?
Yeah, maybe it's the JavaScript data files. A bit further down the list.
Oh, yeah.
So what we had previously was one of the things above where we had module exports equals async function. But, I guess I don't know. So how do we have both this, which is kind of like a default export, but also have the name exports? Do we have a default key in module exports? Do you know, George?
Again, I was reading the documentation. Could you repeat your question, please?
So I think the problem we're facing is that previously we exported a single function. That function got the data we needed and put it in the right shape. Now we're testing, now we still want that behavior by default, but we also want to be able to get that function so that we can test it. And so I actually see two ways around it. One, we figure out how to do the exports, or the other one is we could extract these functions somewhere else, like a lib directory or something in the source directory, and import it from the data file. And this way, maybe the data file becomes the thing from the quote unquote, I mean, it's not a framework. Eleventy is not really a framework, but it's Eleventy specific. But our functions about transforming feeds and so on, they're not, so they could live somewhere else in a different file.
Yeah.
And so we could import it from there in the test, and then this file could have only the default export as before.
Yeah. I like the idea of having a lib folder that's not just our function that we can unit test.
Okay. So we have 40 minutes. Oh, sorry, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Shall we get this to run? So I think we create a new directory somewhere.
Somewhere where?
So at the root level, and I don't know if we can try to call it lib source. No, something like that. Possibly. Okay. I guess I need to look at a more complex Eleventy setup. I can research that, but let's create a directory and create a file there that can be called.
What's the directory? Lib or underscore lib?
Yeah, let's start with lib.
Yeah.
Was that on this? Okay. With underscore. Transform feed.js.
Or just yeah, feed.js, something like that. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then I think in feed.js we want. We can start with everything that we had in the blog post.js.
Copy everything from here?
Almost everything, except the get post.
Let's start by copying
get
everything.
post.
Yeah.
And remove this, right?
Right. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
And I think so in the exports, we export transform feed again.
Sorry. Okay. Transform feed. No. Stream. Where is this from? Okay.
Yeah.
And I think there was an import at the very top, something about Eleventy fetch. I don't think we need the first line anymore. And we don't need the EFS import. And so now we also need to use this functionality, but in the blog posts.js.
So remove all this stuff?
Let's keep FS for now, but remove parser and HTML parser. And then, yeah, all the formatting and the transform feed we have in the other file, so that should be fine. We keep get posts.
And we need here on line 3 the same line that we had in the test, more or less, with the require.
And do we need the
lib feed?
Yeah.
And PPP module exports now can go in front of the async get post. So module exports equal async get post.
Sorry, line 12.
So the beginning, the left side, the assignment can go on line 5.
So we want to export only one function, the one that's currently called get posts.
So put this here, and is this what you meant?
Yeah, or otherwise what?
Go ahead, Dimitri.
No, both ways are fine. So we could either have it inline, or we can keep the module exports at the end. But instead of returning an object, we return get posts.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
But we need the curly brackets, right?
No.
No, I think we don't need anything because this is we want to return the function itself.
Okay.
So now I think now we fixed the npm start command.
I want
We've
to
broken
do
the
the test
test.
first. Okay.
We've broken the test because of the require.
And the start.
Yeah, so we've broken everything.
Yay. Okay, so what do you want to fix first? Okay, so there's a promise issue with the lib file over here.
It's the dot_lib. It's not in the. We don't need to go.
Ah, we need the file, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
Amazing.
Boom.
And the start, sorry, the test is broken. So
Because we moved the transform feed from one file to the other. So the line 1.
should be lib.
Yeah.
And feed, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now we can commit this.
Finally.
Yeah, and 13 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
Now George beatboxes for 13 minutes.
We never ever got to the Rails side of things, but I think that we made quite a lot of progress here. We didn't have a test framework or a test runner. We added one. We managed to write a test. Mm-hmm. We managed to have a local data that doesn't depend on the production RSS feed. Oh yeah, maybe this is something that we need to fix still. In get posts, we are.
Oh yeah, just.
We're reading the local file. Yeah. Sorry, what was that, George?
Is there a notion of? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, just saying. Can we fix this?
Yeah. Is there a notion of environment in Eleventy?
Not.
Does Eleventy knows what local?
Not really. So, or maybe there is. Maybe we can use the node environment for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a node environment variable, and we need to look at how it's deployed. But we can check that if we are in production. Yeah. The problem is that if we maybe sometimes you also want to test with against the real feed and not just the example feed.xml.
Mm-hmm. Do we have it .env?
What about not committing the thing where we read from disk and commit with what was there before, the lines that are commented out? Shall we try first the code if it still works with the feed URL and getting it from there?
Okay, so like this. And
yeah.
Okay.
And start
Let's start.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no. This is the part we still haven't fixed.
Oh yeah, okay. So the design seed doesn't have a. If we don't put the design in the URL on line 6.
Mm-hmm. And remove the limits.
I don't
Okay.
think they're gonna. Okay, cool. Then we can go
Sure.
back to design.
Okay.
Yeah, so that works. So I think for the commit, what we want to do is delete that line and line 2 where we import FS.
Delete or just comment out?
Good question.
Because we've added as well the file.
Oh, we've also
The
added the file.
feed.exe, the XML file.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can have a work. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be the final commit in the pull request. So I'm fine with keeping the comment for now.
Okay. Are we ready to commit?
I think so.
So, what did we do?
Heatbox? Oh no, that's the one thing we didn't do.
Beatbox. I'll put like the contributors here. I'll put your name and Beatbox beside it, I guess. How do you spell your name? Like George?
George Cosmopoulos, Kosmopoulos.
P-O-L-U?
No, Poulos. P
Yeah. P
O U
O U
L O S.
L-O-S.
Yeah.
And your email is
gcosmo@thoughtbot.com, I think.
this.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's like this.
Yep.
Petrov?
Yep.
All right.
As for the commit message, I would say what we did was I would say something like test import functionality or test testing
Feed parsing.
yeah, test blog post extraction from RSS feed.
Add jest for testing.
So, do you want a bullet list or?
Create a lib folder for function extractions. Oh no, for formatting. No, for refactoring.
Refactoring?
No, I did not.
We could, I mean, arguably this could also be a separate commit, but we could say that we extracted the utility functions in their own file.
do you want to put it in a different commit? Yeah, it's too much work.
If we well, yeah, and if we have the extract, doesn't, yeah.
The thing is, if you think about the pull request, this is where we started adding these functions in the first place, and possibly at the very end of the pull request we may squash everything in one commit anyhow. So I think it's good to have some description here of what we did, but it doesn't matter quite that much that it's separate commits, because we don't want the intermediate steps of first we had them in one file, then in different files.
So create lib folder is enough for now. Just create lib folder. Boom. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. I would have to maybe mention adding the feed.xml, adding a fixture.
Yeah, which makes me think that right now it's still a bit awkward. We need to comment out some lines of code and comment in others. Maybe this is something that can be improved, or maybe there's some documentation. As you were saying, George, maybe in different environments it happens automatically. We could think about it, but I think we're at a pretty good spot in terms of testing the functionality here. The only thing that we haven't tested, and I think that's okay, is downloading the feed from production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And possibly, actually, we also may want to unit test some of the other functions. So now we have kind of an I wouldn't call it an integration test, but we tested, we got this one feed and we returned this data. And I even suggested earlier that we simplify it a bit, so we're getting only the latest post and not the rest of the feature posts. So we're missing some test coverage there. We could unit test the dates formatting, just with other types of dates. We could add some tests around
Excerpt.
Yeah, like links in the paragraphs, or just making sure that things are preserved. So there's some ideas there. I was wondering what would we want to do next time.
I guess tie the loose ends on this, whatever we're doing right now, and then maybe go back into design.
Yeah. I mean,
when is next time?
So next time is normally next week, but we'll check that again, and again post it on, announce it on social media. And if you've subscribed to the YouTube channel, you can get the notification there. It's in the live section. Or if you're on Twitch, you will also get a notification when we go live.
Nice.
Oh, do we do the thing of every influencer? Don't forget to like our video and talk about us to your friends.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
But
But we can have George's surprised face as a thumbnail.
Yes.
Okay. Shall we commit this? Should I push it?
Yes.
Yes, please. And the next, I think on the same branch we had some unfinished business with styling, and we can fix that next time, as you were saying.
Good.
Awesome. Exactly 2 o'clock we pushed.
Thank you both.
Thank you
It's
very
a fun
much.
experience.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
See you next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.